Hey, what is up, guys? It's Giltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. How y'all doing today on this marvelous Saturday afternoon? Yeah, I had to think there for a second what day it was, but today I am joined by TravistyOnDemand. How you doing today, Travesty?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Gil?
Pretty good. Cannot complain. We are here today with round 6 with Immortal Alliance versus Prestige. You excited?
I'm pretty excited. I'm actually going through the standings right now. I know we're in round 6 and we're getting close to the end, but it's starting to look like there's a few teams that are going to be able to make it in this division. Immortal Alliance right now has 2 wins and 2 losses. If they want to be in contention at the very end of the season, they need to start racking wins. I don't think they can afford another loss today, so this is a desperate time for them.
Yeah, no, definitely, without a doubt. And I think that goes for both teams, realistically speaking. As Prestige, I know, doesn't have too many wins underneath their belt if you do look at the standings. So it's definitely unlikely or improbable for Prestige to win with 4 losses, but theoretically not outside the realm of possibility. But only if things go really wrong for those currently at the front of the pack, which currently would be Cookies, Regicide, and Dine Alliance. And those are really the 3 teams. We have a few other ties for the 4th spot, as those do have, you know, a 2-2 record each, with IA at 2-2, Monarchy at 3-2 now, and Sample Text, my team, at 2-2.
Yeah, I think any team that has more than 3 losses, I don't think is going to be able to get the 4th spot. But if you only have 3 losses, I think that there is still a chance for you to put your team in contention.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That being said, we are going to be playing on the Temple of Purgation today. And we see all the Survivor builds. Let's get confirmation from Giraffe that they are good to go, as we are going to have Prestige killing first against Immortal Alliance. And what's the verdict, Giraffe?
Still missing one.
Oh, still missing one? No worries. Thank you for that up. Oh, I see here, yep. 4 screenshots, but only 3 builds. That would make a wee bit of sense.
That would be shy of 4 builds.
Yep, just slightly, just slightly.
Just slightly.
But with that being said, I definitely am curious to see what killer Prestige decides to bring to the table. With our last match, we did see Oni be used on this map with some success. What are your thoughts on your killer pick for this map?
For this map, just the size of it's a rather big map, and it can be rather difficult to patrol the gens. I feel like you really need someone that's going to be able to, with high mobility, going to be able to go from gens to gens. So I'm looking for a high mobility killer, and if you're Prestige right now, you're going to take this one of 2 ways. You're either going to bring out your A game so that you can continue to learn and to get better in this league, so that hopefully next season you'll be in a better shape, or they're using this opportunity to test different builds to see what could be possible and what is not. I'm hoping for my high mobility.
Yeah, I think in this instance, high mobility definitely is the way to play. Some people could argue Blight. Not as much of a fan of Blight on this map. Most of the Redwood Forest maps, the bushes are kind of a bit rough to try and bounce around, as their hitbox is not curved. It is just a block of bush. So I don't think Blight would be a good call here. And looks like, unfortunately, maybe DBD being DBD and resetting all the lobby. So we'll have to get back on in here as we speak, extending our time just a wee bit. But as we are resetting that, I am thinking maybe a Wraith wouldn't be a bad shout for this match.
I don't think Wraith would be bad. They do have some good mobility. I personally think that Blight would be good on this map. Most of the Blights that we see seem to run the add-ons, where your rush speed is increased, and if you're running that with Ruin and Tinkerer, you're going to get a lot of pressure off of gens. You're going to get a lot of Ruin value and be able to patrol your gens quite easily.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. So definitely will be interesting. I think that Blight could be an option. I don't know. I remember practicing Blight on this map. I was like, I'm not so sure about it. Have to wait and see. You know, maybe there are better Blights than I out there. There definitely are. And the biggest thing to keep in mind is that this map is a 156 square tile map. Very similar to Mount Ormond Resort, where main building's still pretty strong. Not as strong as, you know, Mount Ormond's main, I would argue. But as long as you don't do that middle gen here in Telepurgation, you know, it's a really good loop spot, to say the least.
Yeah, main can be rather difficult, just because you have a lot of vault locations to get you onto the outside. And you also have the downstairs to play with, and that one spot where you can go upstairs, in which last game we saw there was actually a totem spawn up there. And hopefully teams are paying attention that if there is a killer running a hex, that could be one of the spawn locations to look for.
Yeah, you're not wrong, you're not wrong. I think definitely, you know, we've seen the value that totems can get these killers, especially in the early game. So we'll have to wait and see if we see, you know, more Ruin Undying as we saw prior. But that being said, you know, as we are moving into the final rounds of COTF, we're also moving that much closer to our mid-chapter updates. What are your thoughts on the update as it stands? I personally am hoping for a lengthy update from PTB to live. What about you? What are your thoughts so far?
No, I think it's going to be a huge update. I had the chance to go into the PTB last week after one of the games, and I was loving the cooldown for the people so much. To take it down to 60 seconds. I was like, this is so, the worth is so much more. Because if for the people punished you more than if you ran Deliverance.
Yeah.
Which makes it really hard, especially in comp, for the people to be viable.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You know, I'd still think for people we probably won't see it in comp, but definitely will be better in pubs play. I'm definitely, as speaking of non-quote-unquote meta perks being used, I'm also thinking that Vigil might see some more usage, as Vigil now reduces the amount of time for exposed status effects as well as broken status effects, which could be pretty significant. Where if you are running Deliverance and a teammate's running Vigil, it means that, you know, your broken stat's going to refresh a little bit faster. In addition to that, we could also see, you know, if a killer's running Haunted Ground or Starstruck and Vigil's in play, you know, that might surprise the killer if they go for a swing and the exposed status effect is already, you know, gone at that point. So Vigil could be kind of an interesting perk to see if that will be played more because of that.
I think in pubs you may see it a little bit more. I believe the only caveat is that you do need to be near a survivor in order for Vigil to be procced, which in some cases you don't want to be paired up, but in instances where you're going up against twins, you really do want to go 2-on-2. That could be some value if there are Vigil players out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But looks like we are good to go for game number 1, barring any additional technical issues. So we will be jumping right on in. As a reminder, we are with Prestige as the killer. We have Glitch DBD and Immortal Alliance as survivor. So will be interesting to see here. I'm thinking probably a Wraith going to game 1. How about you, Travesty? What's your final guess as we're loading up here?
My final guess is going to be Blight.
Okay. So you think they're going to come out swinging quite literally with the Blight?
I think they could if they're looking to see how Blight is going to do in experimentation mode. Blight could be a good one for them to experiment with.
I would definitely agree. You know, if you feel like this is your swan song, you're kind of on your way out, you're not going to make it to playoffs, best to just kind of treat this as high stakes scrims. So I can definitely see that in that regard. And, you know, we'll have to wait and see. If it is a if it's a non-mobility killer, you know, someone that is not high mobility, who would be your guess otherwise?
I would say that if you really need to slow things down, twins might not be bad for Victor to go out and to slow things down. We did see last game on Suffocation Pit, twins being used with the Natophobia and with Ruin, which did slow the game down a lot in order for them to get pressure. We could see that happen here.
Yeah, that is actually a good call out. Twins had some good high mobility with Victor, and it's just an overall good macro killer. And I think on maps like this, that might be a good option. But with that being said, I do believe that after a quick build check, some things not looking exactly right. So, 'tis the problem of technical issues. Sometimes additional issues also occur. So if we could let Immortal Alliance know that they're going to have to reset because of that. So this will give the opportunity for both teams to change builds as necessary. But unfortunately, a Plunderer's Instinct as well as a Purple Flashlight were brought to the table.
Oh, man!
So, 'tis what happens when things go awry. This will also give the opportunity for Prestige to reset their killer and builds if they do deem it necessary. Otherwise, hopefully, it'll be a quick little change and we should be good to go.
Man, I was hoping to get some Plunderer's value, but, you know, it is against the rules for COTF, so, you know, a reset is viable.
Yeah, chests can be pretty strong sometimes, you know?
Especially when they bring in a Purple Flashlight, too. They can use that to see where the chests are. Where are you?
Oh, well, with that being said, you know, speaking of Season 2 COTF, we are actually coming pretty close to the end of Season 1. So I'll be reaching out to teams and seeing who is interested in playing in Season 2. And this goes for everyone else. If you either know of a Dead by Daylight competitive team that would be interested in joining the league, or in the instance that you are a team looking to join, definitely feel free to reach out. So that way we are able to get a better understanding of how many teams will be participating.
And, you know, just, you know, in the event that you also happen to be free on Sundays, you know, just, I know that there's, you know, about 6 teams there, and my team's one of them. We would love a little bit more matches, so please join.
Exactly. And we'll see, we'll have to see, you know, depending on the schedule, we might actually have everyone be in just one big league. But also to answer your questions in chat, there is no penalty this season. Next season, the rules have changed in that regard. How it's going to work next season, at least as of this moment, keep in mind these rules are in the works. That what will happen is that if a survivor team brings the wrong build, the survivor team will not be able to change their builds. Their perks are known, their tools are known, their add-ons are known to the killer, where the killer can change their build at their leisure. This way, it is penalizing a team that brings the wrong build, and accordingly, applies a little bit of pressure because of that. Because, if you know who the Deliverance user is, if you know who the DS user is, the Dead Hard user, those are important bits of information. So that will be implemented in Season 2 of COTF, whereas right now, no penalties, just full reset across the board. Trying to keep it fair in that regard.
Yeah, I think that's a fair trade-off. If the survivor team did end up making a mistake or they didn't see something, they may be punished for it. And I think what we were seeing is that there were no consequences for the actions. And I think that's a nice change that we might see in Season 2.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There'll be 3 types of restarts. There's going to be survivor restarts, no-fault restarts, and killer restarts. Basically, same idea for killer. If they bring a ban perk or a ban add-on, then they correct their build, but their build is now known to survivors. So definitely a lot more punishing for survivors, where there is a lot more, mistakes that can be made, and a lot more info that can be given.
Mm-hmm. So say, for an instance, a killer brings in a perk that they're not allowed to bring in, or an add-on they're not allowed to bring in, and then the reset needs to occur. Does that mean the survivor team gets to know what the actual build is going to be, or just what it was?
Yep, what the build is going to be. But with that being said, we are in the match, and we do see Glitch with the Twins.
Yeah, Twins would actually going to be really good. If they have the proper slowdown necessary, they're going to be able to slow this down and hopefully get some hooks.
And I agree with that. I'm not sure if this is an FOV glitch or what, but Twins looking... Okay, yeah. Thankfully, an FOV glitch. I was like, what is going on? Like, okay, I've heard of stretch res, but is this like some 400 by like 1920, 1080 something? Because, man, you are looking at your feet, but thankfully that was a spectator glitch, it would appear, putting Charlotte's POV to Victor's, which... would be kind of interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, because I don't think even we would know what is going on. I just thought that they were mad that their feet weren't clean because they're stepping in all this mud.
Yeah, apparently. But we do see that first down here. And time to see if Twins is able to capitalize on this early pressure, as Corrupt is still up and Ruin is still going. With this being said, what are your thoughts on best case scenario for the Twins in this regard?
I think the best case scenario is you get it down on the survivor, and then you have Victor hanging on to another survivor. During that cooldown time, they have the opportunity to go pick up their down survivor and go ahead and carry them to the hook. And by that time, if the survivor is still carrying Victor, most of that time has already surpassed because they've already been busy doing the hook and getting their survivor.
Yeah, that is definitely a good call out, and a really good 1-2 down for the Twins here, as they're able to get Techno down, and it looks like there's still someone on the hook. Surprised that Glitch did not go to contest that, but rather checking on main.
No, I think they wanted to make sure because they saw a lot of... Whoa! Oh no, that's so punishing! The miss with Victor onto a building and the kick by Ace. Ooh, that's going to slow down things, slow down the momentum for the killer just a little bit there.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a little bit of a cheeky play. We saw Ace 99 with the Mad Kit to ensure that he did not go back down. And then on top of which, I think we saw a sprint burst in order to allow him to dodge the pounce from Victor. Glitch not really being able to anticipate that play. But we now do see 2 survivors down on the ground, both Codex Genora and Techno, though Techno is getting back up. But Meg taking their place.
Oh, I was about to say they were wasting a lot of time with Victor, and I thought that they were going to get Techno up. And while they got Techno up, another survivor did go down. So they're maintaining the 2-2 strategy, and that gen regressed heavily in the main building.
Yeah, at the same time, I'd argue from a killer perspective, having main pop off is not necessarily a bad idea, as that does allow you to break up those loops at the main building. It really does make those window vaults very weak. We do see Ace getting Meg back up, but Meg immediately going back down. It looks like Glitch trying to get the pickup, but unfortunately you have to break in the pallet first, which in this case, not a bad pallet to break. You know, later down in the game, that is always a good pallet to try and make a little bit of distance on.
Yeah, I think they made a good call to not get too greedy. Go ahead and take your hooks, because if they start to bleed out a little too much, they're not going to get the points for that. So it's good to go ahead and just secure your points. And secure your points is what you need to do.
Yeah, I do remember back in Season 0 of COTF, we did see a bleed out actually cost the team a game. So definitely a very good call out there that, you know, you need to be careful, especially if you're going to go with the slug play. Not to leave him on the ground for too long, unless you do risk that potential loss of points. But we do see that pounce on Codex, and looks like Glitch is going to be going back to the hook and contesting this unhook, as Meg only has 30 seconds, give or take, left.
Yeah, I think they're doing... Oh no, Techno! Oh, Techno went in to go for the grab, but the Twins was quick with their actions and pulled them off. I think it's actually good. They're trying to force the kill at 5 gens. I think it's really good, because having a 3-on-1 with 5 gens can be rather difficult to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, overall, really good plays here. A lot of good pressure for Twins. Ruin is still up. We still see a ton of pressure. Survivor's starting to falter, so Twins in a really good position. And a cheeky little long-range pounce, but not able to make that work. And Glitch being a bit aggressive there, and will die to the pallet, as they're not able to stay up there for all too long.
Yeah, Shack Valley doing some work already down. Never thought we'd see that this game.
Yeah, you know, Twins players need to be a wee bit careful, especially if that longer, you know, cooldown period with Victor on successful or missed hits. And we do see Codex Schnorr going back down. Surprised that the Twins never did go and pick up Techno. It was on the ground for quite a while. Looks like maybe Glitch here looking to end the game early. I mean, they have all the time in the world right now, with 5 gens left and 1 survivor already dead. So I can kind of understand their perspective, but, you know, would rather not have a 40-minute Twins match if we can help it here.
I'm kind of hoping maybe for like a 10-15-minute Twins match. I think that would be okay. And missing with Victor. Actually, something that I noticed earlier, when Victor went back there the first time, when Ace was on that gen, Ace was 99 on the heal. As soon as Victor came over, he healed himself. Could that possibly be a resilience play?
Definitely a possibility for it to be a resilience play, trying to get that extra pressure on the gen, which could definitely help out in these moments. At the same time, it is a major risk, especially with Victor, if they do go for some of those long-range houses.
Yeah, especially because as soon as Victor came over there, he healed himself back up. So that hopefully they picked it up that possibly resilience is in play, but who knows? And we do see another miss on Victor's pounds, leaving Ace to be able to go ahead and take him out.
Yeah, like I said before on those bushes, they do really have a blocky hitbox, so Victor kind of struggles in the same way that Blight does in regards to the bounce to try and get past him for the hit. And we see there where just not able to make things connect. And though Glitch has a ton of pressure right now, he's still struggling to get these downs, but does transition back to the unhook. And looks like jumping back to Victor again, going for the Yui instead. And will get Yui down. Question then remains whether or not Twins will go for the pickup or just leave her slugged out, which seems to be their overall strategy, is leave one slugged and go for the pounce on someone else, as they do connect with Ace.
Yeah, and I personally think that you need to start securing the points. I can understand where they're coming from, having two on the ground, forcing the other one to get off of a gen, and to heal one of their teammates before the twins can get over there and get the hook. The problem is they're just wasting so much time that the getting them down is not. It's just delaying the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly getting them much value. You know, at the very least, it does get them off of gens, but it's not something that you really have to worry about too much in this regard, as we do see Claudette taking the pounce and Ace right there as well. It's really now going to come down to whether or not they're able to get this down in a timely manner. And, you know, Glitch here trying to make a decision between the Ace and the Claude. Looks like they're going to opt to go for the Ace, though he's definitely made a bit of distance here, as personally, I have no clue where he has gone.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I think he knew once he lost the line of sight, he needed to get rid of Shaq. Just in the case that he needed to be able to use Victor again, that Shaq probably gave him some problems earlier. Although we did see Victor earlier in the match jump over a pallet in order to grab onto a survivor.
Yeah, definitely possible, but a little bit more difficult. But we do see Codex Sonora move on to second stage, and Twinge try to confirm this down on Claudette and is able to connect. I think at this point goes back to the hook as Charlotte instead of Vic is the play. And we do not see any sign of the Ace.
No, we don't. I think they're either going to do one or two things: either confirm a gen and get some point. Oh, we don't see that though. We see scratch marks.
And surprisingly, Glitch going back to Vic here, actually able to body block with Vic and get the pounce. Now, the interesting part about this was actually a really good heads-up play, because I'm fairly certain that they're not able to go for the pickup right now with Vic on their back. So, whereas if they would have body blocked with Twins, they could have theoretically gotten the pickup and it would have went into another chase. But here, with Twins, or with Victor on Ace's back, they're not able to do anything. And so Techno's gonna be left on the ground, but I do want to note, Techno only has 30 seconds left before they bleed out, so Twins being forced to go for the pickup before trying to confirm chase on the Ace.
Yeah, I know that they want to deny as many points as they can, but you would be denying yourself of at least 10 points by leaving Techno's leg on the ground for too long.
Exactly, and we do see where Ace is as of this moment. Looks like Victor going to be blocking off that pallet vault, kind of tempting the survivor to make their way over. And we do see Techno suicide on hook. You know, as of right now, no way for these survivors to know exactly where the hatch is. So now going to come down to if Vic is able to get the down on the Ace. Ace given some good chase though, but Victor a little bit too fast getting the down on Jolly Dude.
Well, it looked like Victor was a little too far away from the pallet in order to block it. I think he may have been using it just to get information as to where the Ace was going.
I think you're right. So in a way in which I say block, not like physically body block it, but make it so that if they go for the vault, they can switch back to Vic and immediately down.
Yeah, I think that was probably it. Just because I was seeing the distance in between the two, and I'm thinking, you know, he could just kind of get around it. And the twins doing some victory swings around this pole.
Indeed, indeed. But that being said, that is a huge start here for Prestige, as we're looking at 0 points for Mortal Alliance going into game number 2, and 42 points for Prestige. So a huge lead as Prestige moves on to Survivor's side on Templar Purgation. Mortal Alliance's killer is definitely going to have a lot of work cut out for them to bring this game back.
They are going to have a lot of work, and after seeing how their killers have done in the season, they have a really good track record as far as what is denounced as a win for the killers. It seems that they've won what? I think it's 6 or 8 times as the killer.
Yep.
but they've lost only twice. It tells me that their team is very competent on the killer end, but the survivors just aren't able to close in the deal.
Yeah, definitely can be a struggle at times. But I believe we're going to be having Techno as killer for Immortal Alliance. So Techno, definitely a fan of the pig. I wonder if maybe pig might be the play here for them.
Oh god, I'm personally not sure, because at this point with the map size, wow, words do not work today. I am so sorry. I think that the pig may be difficult. One, because of the map size, and two, once you do get your survivors in the traps, you're now having to patrol more spots for the jigsaw boxes.
Yeah.
So you're at that point you're having to juggle between so much. I think it could be difficult for the pig to be successful on this map.
Yeah, so that's one of the big things. It's a bit of a bigger map at 156, and the jigsaw boxes do spread out pretty far. However, there's a however there, where you are right in saying that it does give them some more area to patrol. It depends on how you look at the traps, whether it is seen as a gen slowdown or as a kill mechanic. I think for the most part, you want to look at it as more of a gen slowdown if you do run Pig. But being at this much of a point deficit, I think Pig would not exactly be the play.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I know some people that tend to use Pig as on the other spectrum to confirm the kills. And I think especially so in comp, because if their trap is active and they're in the middle of working on their traps, the pig comes and then knocks them down, that completely resets their progress on if they were already in the middle of their jigsaw trap.
Yeah, agreed. So, you know, if we're looking at Techno, knowing the killers they bring, what are your thoughts on what you would like to see? You know, we talked about high mobility killers. Do we think we're going to see maybe a Wraith, maybe a Blight, maybe another Twins? What are your thoughts?
I personally think that we could see a Wraith. I think a Wraith would be a really good option.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a good option here, especially as you do have a lot of ground to gain. So it would definitely be interesting, especially as All Seeing right now is in a pretty good place, but will be being nerfed come the 19th. And also Wraith giving a slight nerf as well, as his movement speed increase out of Cloak is getting decreased from 1.25 seconds to 1 second, so a 0.25 decrease. But from the Wraiths that I've talked to, that could be pretty significant.
It actually is pretty significant. Wraith is one of my mains when I play killer. That 0.25 seconds really does matter, and with all-seeing reduction going from 12 meters to 8, that means you're having to get a little bit closer in order to see the aura of the survivor. Actually, is a big deal.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is if you're going to run All Seeing, I think it's going to be less of a info-based add-on going forward with that nerf and more of a anti-loop add-on. That way, if you see the survivor looking to mind game, you're going to be able to better understand where they're going to go and be able to confirm those hits. But it's going to definitely be a little bit weaker in comparison to what it is now.
Yeah, that 4 meters actually does make a difference. You know, size does matter here in Dead by Daylight.
This is true, but we have gotten the lobby all set up and ready to go. We're now just waiting on prestigious survivor builds as we speak. Speaking of, I do actually want to remind everyone who competes in comp here. Unless Behavior is going to make some significant changes to the new Built to Last. Built to Last will be banned from COTF starting the 19th. So I would recommend for all of your teams who do have preset builds with Built to Last included, you might want to rework things, as Built to Last will officially be banned on the 19th unless we see some significant changes. I'm not worried about toolboxes as much as I'm worried about medkits, because medkits, I think based on our current rules, could get up to 5 heals. which are pretty significant with everything, all things considered.
Actually, I would be concerned with the toolboxes as well, because if you did have the yellow toolbox with the spire wool, using the build to last now, and if you happen to use Streetwise, which I know a lot of people use, just doing a solo gen by yourself can get you a significant amount of progress. So it build to last is a big problem right now once the change takes effect on the 19th.
Yeah, I would agree with you in pubs. The reason why I don't agree with you in comp is this reason only. I did the math, actually, and based on the math, it does not appear that Built to Last of the toolbox is going to gain you that much time. I think you can only refresh it one time. Once it gets down to 66%, you actually lose time on the refresh, and you don't gain as much. Yes, you can use that to get that gen just a bit faster in some unique circumstances, but for the most part, you're going to actually lose time that you could otherwise just be on a gen. So, realistically speaking, chances are, I think if people were to use it, we probably wouldn't see it on a toolbox, more likely a med kit to try and get as many heals as possible, especially as I start seeing more and more teams starting to adopt Medal of Man for body blocks more and more often.
Yeah, and that was the thing that surprised me this season, that we're seeing more people dedicating their health states to body blocking. That was something that we didn't see in Season 0, and I think that's going to be the new meta and how the teams are going to work together on the Survivor side.
Yeah, exactly. I especially think as we look into Season 2, one of the major changes that will be announced is actually our point system rework. We will be moving to a system that is a little bit more similar to DBE and DBDL, as we will be moving to a 3-2-1 system for survivors, where they have points focused more in on fresh hooks, as well as when a survivor is hooked, that also decreases how many points they get when they leave or escape the match. So, going to be pretty significant, hence why I think that as a survivor might get hooked the first time, the killer already got their 3 points, you might see more body blocks from the survivor that's already been hooked to give the killer even less points by that logic.
Yeah, I think by that logic that makes sense. I'm looking forward to when the new rules come out for Season 2, because I'm a numbers person. That tends to be my role with my competitive team, is I tend to look at numbers and go, this is what can work and this is what cannot work. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the points are going to be truly effective once we see those officially for Season 2.
Yeah, for those who are currently competing in Season 1, the new rules as well as the new scorecard has actually been released to your captains, so if you do have questions regarding it, definitely reach out to your captains to get a hold of those. I send it to them first so they can, send it out as they deem it necessary, and also getting some feedback. There's a few more changes, as the rules are still a little bit a work in progress, but for the most part, the major changes have been notated.
Yeah, the major changes have been notated. There's a lot of teams I know that used Built to Last on their toolboxes, and rest in peace to that. And I'm just gonna be so sad.
Yeah, so I think the biggest change, outside of Built to Last, I'm thinking that the biggest change, as we are seeing a lot of people starting to use their spirits early, I'm very interested if with the Deathslinger nerf, we're actually going to see Deathslinger used in comp after the 19th.
I personally don't think that we're going to see that much of Deathslinger. Deathslinger, I think, may just be one of those throwaway killers that if you're up so many points, you may just use them to kind of throw away a killer slot.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But with that being said, looks like we are good to go as far as builds are concerned. So we'll be moving into game number 2 as we speak.
So what do you think we're going to see in this particular round? What do you think we're going to see for the killer?
So, Immortal Alliance is not able to use Twins or Oni, so I don't think we're going to see another Twins. I think chances are either a Wraith or a Blight, more likely than not, especially with the number of points necessary for Immortal Alliance to bring this match back.
For me, I think I am going to say Freddy. I don't think we talked about Freddy. Freddy, with his ability to teleport from gen to gen, with the add-ons that are at his side, it could be a possibility that he can control it. The map is big, but Freddy's also in contention as well.
I would definitely say that'd be an option, but let's see. And sure enough, it is the Wraith.
Yep, I think this was the best call.
Yeah, definitely one of them. So the question now remains whether or not Wraith's going to be able to find survivors early, and sure enough, with all seen, plus just being able to see them in general, we do find the Wraith in their first chase with the Kate, and Kate dropping the pallet early, vaulting early as well though, so Techno getting the hit over that pallet, a really good start here, as we do see these survivors already in a bit of a predicament, and Wraith trying to get that cheeky hit, but not able to make it connect.
Not able to make a connect, but there's already a lot of pressure. But something I did notice, we do see 3 generators that have white auras around them, suggesting a corrupt intervention is in play.
And not only that, but we also saw a good number of totems as Wraith was looking around, suggesting maybe a haunted ground usage here, as there's more than the usual 2 or 3. So chances are probably maybe haunted ground, undying, and ruin play. But we'll have to wait and see as the first gen does go off, and we do have our first hook on Pyrusian.
That gen did go by pretty quickly, so for me as a killer, I'm probably thinking there might have been 2 people on it. It seemed to go pretty fast, and the chase didn't go that long for 1 person to be on it.
Agreed, and I will note that Techno trying to, maybe play around that Claudette and try and get a hit there, and does successfully get that over the pallet, surprisingly enough. Trying to do some cheeky plays here as they are recloaking and using All Seen to get a better idea of what play they're going to make. And I think this is how we're going to see All Seen used going forward, is really as a mind game piece and less of a info piece. As you see Techno whipping there and not able to get that hit on the Claudette as another totem is cleansed.
Ooh, two totems being cleansed. It makes you wonder what totems were cleansed. Oh no! We did not expect it, but right behind the Wraith was a flashlight blinder, taking him out of invisibility and stunning him. Oh, that was a good play.
I mean, a good heads-up play there by the Jake, realizing that Wraith is too focused in on the Claudette, taking that time to just stun them out of their cloak, and really putting some good pressure on the Wraith as we do see that middle gen go off. A little bit concerned about seeing that, though, as middle gen is usually, in my opinion, a gen you don't want to see, and we do see a firecracker drop and another light burn on the Wraith.
Oh, as a Wraith main, I hate to see it, but they did a really good play using the firecracker to get the light burn on them. That was very well executed.
Yeah, I found out personally that there really is no way to avoid that firecracker play in that moment. You can't really run from it, unfortunately, as the Wraith has learned firsthand. But we do see Kate back in chase now, and she is the only survivor to have been on hook as we speak, and will potentially be going back up on that as we do see the down.
Yeah, we do see the down. It's actually not the worst thing in the world. Even though we're getting close to a 1-to-1 ratio as far as gens to hooks, at least 1 person is going to be on dead hook. That's something to take away, because then it becomes a 3v1 with now 2 gens remaining.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. And Techno trying to avoid this light burn here from the Jake, but just not able to make it work. And that is now 2 gens completed. So Techno definitely find themselves in a weak position here as they do get the hit on the Jake. I foresee that unhook coming up here momentarily as Jake will go for the trade, and Techno will get the down as compensation.
Something tells me that if he's going to go for the save there, he may be throwing himself for a deliverance. I think that could be a possibility, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that is a good call, honestly. But we do see Techno on top of Kate, and do want to mention that Kate was self-healing there, which does mean that she does not have Decisive Strike if she does have it equipped. So with Techno now having that knowledge, they could go for that immediate pickup, but will opt to go for the Claudette instead, as they do take that stun, and we'll now see if Claudette will be brave enough for that pallet stun, and they tried. Looks like Serena went for it, but just not able to get it in time. So Kate will be on death hook.
And Kate is gone. There's one gen left. That gen had a lot of progress on it. And something to note, there is a broken status effect on the Jake, suggesting that he did indeed have deliverance.
Yeah, so that was a good call up there. It makes a lot of sense. Deliverance a very, very strong perk. Actually currently in conversation whether or not Deliverance will be allowed in Season 2. So if you have any feelings or thoughts on Deliverance, definitely keep that in mind. But, ooh, interesting hit there. I want to notice that technically was a reverse pallet stun, but it just did not work as Wraith was able to speed right through the pallet. Looks like Claudette was able to get it down just a little bit too late as she does end up on the hook.
Personally, I'm not a fan of camping the pallet against a Wraith just because his speed boost coming out of invisibility means you're probably going to see these survivors take hits even if they do get the stun.
Yeah, that is a good point. And Jake trying to Lifer and Wraith, not able to make it work, and then going for a good corner attack. But Jake will now be going back up on the hook. And if in instance Techno's able to get back to the unhook, you know, this could potentially be a 3K at the very least. Probably not the result they're looking for, but a 3K definitely better than nothing as Techno decides to go for the Claudette here. And will be trying to go for the down, as I imagine Serena will be trying to go for the unhook on the Jake.
Oh, that was a really nice mind game. That Wraith did a really nice mind game, and they're making a good decision, leaving the Claudette slug to go back to the hook and make sure to pressure the unhook.
Yeah, no, really good plays here. It looks like they're going to be going for the Jake and trying to get them out. I do find that might be a bit of a dangerous play as they probably do have Decisive Strike along with that Deliverance, and we do see an Unbreakable play from the Claudette as we speak.
Which is interesting. Sometimes you'll find that the person with Deliverance either has Decisive Strike or Unbreakable. So now that they're aware that the Claudette was the one with Unbreakable, the killer should be able to know that Jake is the one that probably has Decisive Strike.
Yeah, that's my thought exactly. Usually a pretty good call out there. It's why when I personally see a broken status effect, unless I know it's second wind, I am not going to touch you. That is for sure. It looks like Techno trying to get a good mind game here. Gains a little bit of distance, but we do hear that exit gate open. And looks like they're going to opt to just secure the kill on the Claudette as we probably see a two-man out.
Honestly, I probably would have continued with Serena. Mainly because I don't think Serena's ever been hooked, and that could have been worth at least 10 points for them.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a bit of a misplay there, to say the least. But that there will result in a couple more hook states. So pretty good plays overall here by the Wraith, resulting in 20 points for for Prestige and 31 points for Immortal Alliance. Immortal Alliance making up a bit of the points from game number 1. So we're looking at total points of Immortal Alliance at 31 to Prestige 62. So definitely still a little bit farther behind than I imagine they would have liked, but still an improvement.
Yeah, no, it's an improvement. Killer is where their team tends to shine. So I have no doubt that they're going to be able to make up the points. The most important game is not going to be game 3, because they're pretty confident when it comes to their killer capabilities. It's their game 4. It's their survivor squad. That's where it seems like they're not able to draw in as many points as they would like. That one's going to require the most focus and attention.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But with that being said, I do believe Techno is going to be playing as the killer once again as we do transition over to Suffocation Pit. So we'll have to wait and see here momentarily what Techno decides to bring.
Yeah, I'm quite curious. We've seen some people bring out the nurse for Suffocation Pit, but we've seen some teams on this map actually struggle to get kills as the nurse, and I'm wondering if bringing nurse on Suffocation Pit is actually a trap.
We'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, we'll have to wait a moment, as it does look like Prestige will have to rejoin the lobby.
Okay. But let's see, what else could they bring out? This map I know could be really good for Blight. I know Blight mobility on this map is just god beautiful. With lots of locations for them to be able to get their bumps for their rushes. Blight could also be a good possibility.
Yeah, definitely a good call to say the least. But with that being said, if you could let Prestige know that they need to rejoin the lobby. Thank you, as does appear that they're doing so as we speak. So I think Blight could be a good option. We also saw Huntress as, used before.
We did. I think last week the match with Deadhouse versus Travesty, Moody Joe playing as the Huntress. They did a really good job just securing one side. I think that's a common strategy when it comes to Suffocation Pit, because you can get a good 3 or possibly 4 gen on one side of the map and just be able to lock that down.
Yeah, that is a good call out for sure. So, with that being said, what's your final guess here as you move into game number 3? Do we think maybe also a nurse or spirit could be the play here?
Me personally, I could see Spirit, and I can also see Blight. My final guess is going to be Spirit. I'm going to say Spirit is their... I think that's what they're bringing.
Yeah, Spirit would definitely be a good call out. And yep, I already have addressed it unless there's something different.
Let me double check. I think you got it then.
Alright, thank you. Yeah, as a reminder, guys, I do need to note that the time and place in which a person is added is not determined by your personal time zone, but by mine. So for those questioning whether or not Glitch was able to participate today, the request for them to join was sent on the 9th in Central Standard Time over in the US. So do keep that in mind. It matters what my time is. Once it's 12:01, it'll be the day after. So we should be good to go in that regard.
All right, so... yeah, I can see the concern. It's always good just to ask for clarifications in the event that something did occur, but it is good to know. It is good to know that it's all based on Central Standard Time when it occurred.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I don't like doing time zones, so I make you guys do time zones instead.
Yeah, my whole team is all about Eastern Standard Time, even with the couple of EU players that we have. So all of us are going, wait, hold on, it's Central. What time is that? It's an hour, right? Okay.
Exactly. At least for you, it's pretty easy. Same thing with West Coast or Pacific Standard Time. Just cut off 2 hours, you're good. It gets a bit more complicated once you get into the EU time zones, in which case I do not envy you.
In which, the trade-off is the ping is a little bit better, so yeah. Well, I'll go with that. I don't like going up against EU players, mainly because the ping just throws me off so bad.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. But that being said, looks like we're good to go on Survivor build. I believe we are now just waiting on the Killer build as we speak.
Yeah, I'm excited. Part of me wants to say that we're going to see a Spirit. We could also see a Blight. The possibilities are just endless, I tell you.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. So it'll be interesting. Some people are saying that Slinger's not bad on this map. You have a good Slinger, especially pre-nerf, would not be a half bad idea.
No, not a half bad idea at all. I wonder if Deathslinger gets a good good RNG on the Suffocation Pit side. The ability to be able to shoot over some of the obstacles can be quite big for him.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And there's some pretty tight loops here, especially on main side. So it'll be interesting to see if they might bring Slinger. I said last game, also Bubba is pretty good as long as you can avoid those low-hanging branches, which can be a little bit difficult to work around.
See, I think that's just Bubba's fault for being too tall. His grandparents didn't put bricks on his head when he was 10 or 11 to shrink him down a little bit.
Yeah, instead, just had that good old barbecue and chili. Sure, that did wonders for his personal health.
Oh yeah. That's what made him super, super strong.
Exactly. But looks like we got the Killer build, and looks like we should be good to go. Just need confirmation on the map change, so we don't accidentally load into Haddonfield rather than Suffocation Pit.
Okay, look. It looks like I just saw that they changed it to the correct map, so hopefully we don't have to have a restart, and we could just get into it and let these matches just go.
Yep, we should be good to go. I let the lobby know, so we'll be jumping into game number 3 here momentarily. As we are jumping in here, do you want to give you guys a few heads up? We will be having another match here at 2 p.m. CST with my team Sampletex versus Cookies. So we'll be here with Rugard as the primary host then, so definitely be excited for that. However, another bit of update is that our match of Regicide versus Undying Alliance has been canceled, as Undying Alliance of now named Atrocity will be forfeiting their match. They'll be back next week, I do believe, but does mean that we will have this match, next one, and that will be it until tomorrow, where we have the Late Night Sunday League with either Fortitude Lockers versus We Overslept or Milkshake Mafia versus Travesty at 10 p.m. CST.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to... Because I pay attention to tomorrow's a little bit more than Saturday's, as that's my division. Tomorrow's going to be a good match. And we're getting into the lobby. I'm so excited.
It is a Pyramid Head, the Executioner himself, which I'm actually quite happy about. I played Pyramid Head on this map, and I felt pretty good with it. At the same time, I'm not too horribly thrilled playing Pyramid Head as of right now, due to the fact that his animation is a bit busted. So if you are, like myself, a visual-based memory person when it comes to timing, it's a bit rough. But if you're good with the muscle memory, you should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay, but that having that slight bug in the animation can really throw off the timing, especially when you're wanting to use your special. So I can understand people not being too excited to play Pyramid Head.
Yeah, but that being said, really good bait there on the Claudette, getting her down and going for the grab. I'm a little bit surprised here. Ruin up, as we have seen. I personally would go for the cage and just deny that unhook potential, especially as we do see Corrupt Invention still up and with Ruin on top of which. Personally, it just make more sense to push them to the other side of the map, as I personally like playing main side more than I do shack side, but maybe depending on the gen split, they felt a little bit more comfortable being on shack side this time around.
You know, something is actually worth noting. We have a split corrupt. We have a 2 on main and 1 on shack side, which can be which is not the RNG that they were hoping for when running this build.
Yeah, that is kind of rough. You know, sometimes you get those center spawns, and that just means that you really end up in this awkward position if you're Corrupt Invention, where it does split both sides rather than just corrupting one side. So definitely an unfortunate scenario. But I think Techno needs to kind of take their pick of the two sides and call it there, as we do see main side pretty weak at this point now. So I think they have to probably play shack side, which if we look at the 3-gen here is still not all too strong, as we do see a totem get cleansed. Question then remains, is that a ruin, is it undying, or maybe even a haunted ground?
How many totems did we see? That is my question. I don't know how many totems that we saw.
We saw a good number of totems, so chances are Haunted Ground is in play, but we have yet to see if this survivor will go down. And sure enough, they swing, but are not able to make it connect, as Claudette is able to get the pouts done and a little bit of distance on top of which. Looks like Techno opted to go for a different survivor, though, as we do see Ruin go off, and sure enough, Kate insta-downs with the Haunted Ground.
And then we saw another totem being cleansed, and they're not going for the pickup right away.
So either suggesting just wanting to get some additional pressure. We do see another totem in shack as we speak on top of which. So potentially a 1-2 punch here with maybe 2 Haunted Ground activations. And it looks like Claudette making enough distance here where they may have avoided the chase entirely.
The Claudette did a really good job in wasting the killer's time, because while that was happening, another gen popped off. And right now we're looking at 3 hooks to 2 gens, which isn't bad. You know, a 2-for-1 special is pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you there. You know, definitely a little bit of improvement from what we saw the 1-for-1 on some previous games. Let's see if they're able to continue this pressure, though.
Yeah, and it looks like they're opting to leave the hook to go to the other side of the map. Yeah, and they're going to the main, and I don't think they see anybody. I think this is going to be a bust.
No, there actually is a survivor here. We do see this arena. I still think that this might be a bit of an overextension, as they aren't really protecting any 3-gens, so they're kind of working the entire map, which I do find to be a mistake, especially as Ruin was in shack. So we will probably see that totem get cleansed here momentarily.
In which, if that is the case, we're going to be looking at a no-perk Pyramid Head for the rest of this match.
And sure enough, that is the case, so we'll see what Techno's able to accomplish here. Unfortunately, though, I think it's going to be easier said than done, as they are attempting to get this arena down some long-range M2 hits, but just not able to make them connect. And sure enough, another gen does pop off, now putting them at a 1-for-1 gen-to-hook ratio. And Techno just firing off Punishments of the Damned, but just not able to make it happen.
I think those Punishments of the Damned are desperation attempts to get the down. You know, I think they should have left this chase a good 30-45 seconds ago, when you first saw Zarina moving to the other side of the map in order to protect your 3-gen.
Yeah, and I would agree. On maps like ARP, on maps like Suffocation Pit, you kind of need to stake your claim, put a line in the sand in the middle, and say, if the survivors cross this line, I am not chasing. And we see what happens when the killer doesn't. And so with that 2-2 split, this game is pretty much locked up in the survivor's favor.
Yeah, survivors did a really good job in splitting the gens to ensure that there would be no 3-gen. That was really good awareness on the survivor side.
And I think at the same time, though, that also could be attributed to the fact that, you know, Pyramid Head did not apply any additional pressure and, you know, did not, you know, stake a claim and, you know, just opted to play the full map, which, it's not a big map if you're playing one side. If you're playing one side, then, it's relatively small. But if you play both sides, this is upwards of like 176 square tiles on ARP. I forget how big it is on Suffo Pit, but it's around the same size.
Yeah, it seems to be long. It seems to be long in its length, which is why it can feel difficult to manage from a killer's perspective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I will mention, though, really great long-range M2 there, showing what you can do with the Wax Doll and the Burning Man painting. But you got the hook, but the Survivors got that last gen. So, once again, 1-for-1 on hooks and gens. At this point, if I'm the Survivors, just get that 3-man out. Get as many points as you can, because right now it is a 31-point lead in favor of Prestige. And at the very most, this killer here is going to only get another 3 points.
Yeah, I think right now, if you're on the Survivor side, you want to be able to confirm those points as much as you can. Take the 3 out. That's 38 points. And I don't know how many points the killer is going to get. Probably close to 20-something.
At this point,
I will leave
23.
that 23. At this point, take the 3 out and get that 15-point difference.
Yeah, no, I think that is the right play, and we do see that final progression. So it does result in 38 points for Prestige, 23 points for Immortal Alliance. At this point in time, that is 54 points Immortal Alliance, 100 points for Prestige, as Prestige moves in to Killer for game number 4 on Suffo Pit. And this being a killer-sided map is going to be an interesting position for them to be in. If we're looking at the point breakdown, what the minimum amount that Immortal Alliance needs to do, they actually need to get a 4 out. Not only do they need to get 4 out, but Prestige only needs to get 2 hooks. 2 hooks on any single survivor secures them the win. That's not even including a kill. If they were to get 1 hook and force that survivor to die, that there is their guaranteed victory.
So that brings into question, what do you do on the killer side? Do you bring out a high tier killer to confirm the kill, or do you bring out a throwaway killer, get a survivor down, and camp them to death in order to secure the victory?
I think, honestly, in this case, I think that you just need to, honestly, bring out a trapper. Bring out someone that is low down, Legion even, trapper. Someone that's not going to cost you later. I think there's no reason to bring out an S tier or an A tier, even a B tier, because you get that first kill and the game's over. No matter what, you get a first hook and a progression. Game's over, doesn't matter. That is kind of the long story short.
I agree. I know that there are some people, including myself, who would love a trapper game. We could see Hag.
Yeah.
Hag's not very viable if you're trying to get the 4K at 5 gens. Hag just really isn't there as far as competitive viability is concerned. So because they Hag here, because they can just lock down one side and go do the gens on the other side. This is mine.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Hag with a good 3 or 4 gen, especially if that range increase, is not a bad call. So I definitely could see a Hag being used here, and in comp, she's not used often because I feel like A lot of people don't know how to use her Phantasm traps, but also B, if you just have 1 or 2 survivors harassing the Hag's traps constantly and denying her value, especially those who are able to dodge, I think that would be a huge play for them. So I think that would be maybe a good call out here.
Also, you do see a lot of people, when they know that they're up against a Hag, they tend to instinctually go, we need to crouch towards gens, just because they know that the Hag loves to put their traps near the gens, and if they're running Rusty Shackles, maybe get an interrupt and grab in the middle of their gen progression.
I'll be honest with you, I don't like Rusty Shackles. I do not think that Rusty Shackles is actually as good as people make it out to be, strictly for the fact that Rusty Shackles means you don't get that camera flick, and I think that comes back to, if Rusty Shackles is being used, then you're not going to get really the strength that Hag is able to apply. That's kind of the time where you can put a trap in the middle of a tile and have them run through it. But what you really want for a Hag is that you want the survivor to hit the outskirts of her trap and have their camera flick 90 degrees to the middle where they run into your ITH. For those who don't know what ITH stands for, instant teleport hit. So I think that most times we just see, people not using the traps as well as they should be.
Well, let's think of it this way: when a survivor, if they do hit the outskirts of that trap, and it's not a rusty shackles, as soon as they hit it, they are gonna want to go away from it, right? Versus if they use the rusty shackles, the survivor's not going to have any clue that it's going off. And so the only way they're going to know is when the Hag immediately teleports to her trap upon activation. I know I tend to love it as much in pubs. It can be a surprise factor if they didn't know that they tripped the trap.
I disagree, because the thing is, if a survivor hits the outskirts of a trap of rusty shackles, they just keep running. They don't get that camera flick, meaning that when the camera flicks towards the middle, unless they have split-second timing, they're going to end up running towards the middle, meaning that when Hag ITHs, she's going to guarantee that hit. Whereas with rusty shackles, they hit the outskirts, they keep on running because they have nothing to stop them, nothing to interrupt that. So you're already outside of the range of the ITH.
I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I tend to not care about the camera flicks. I want them to not be aware that I'm coming out of it, and I think it's just a difference in play style.
Yeah, that is a fair call.
But I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I know last week, I believe it was, we saw someone bring out a Huntress and use that as more of a throwaway killer in order to secure a kill. What do you think about Huntress?
Huntress would be definitely a good call here. We saw Trasty clean up with, with Huntress before on Suffocation Pit. So it definitely wouldn't be a half bad idea.
We also saw Fort White's One Locker do the same thing against Milkshake Mafia last week when Fear the Dark Wolf played Huntress as well.
Yeah, that is a fair point. That is a fair point. So we'll have to wait and see. Definitely seems like Huntress is a favorite closer here on Suffopit.
Yeah, but with those hatchets, you're able to threaten more than just the immediate area. So I can see Huntress being viable.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. I think Huntress could be a good call out. I think honestly though, based on the situation, I think that if I'm them, just bring a trapper. You're an M1 killer, but still, get the first down, put 5 traps next to the hook, really make it impossible for them. Just say, cool, you want to try and get this unhook? Be my guest.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put my traps down for the test.
It's going to be interesting, too. I'm actually curious. Speaking of Trapper, I know Trapper's still an M1 115 killer. That's a setup killer where survivors can interact with it. Do we potentially think that Trapper could see some play post 19th with things like Trapper Sack, giving Trapper all of his traps out of the gate?
With the Stitched Bag add-on?
No, not Stitched Bag, Trapper Sack. So Trapper Sack gives you all of the traps. Stitch Bag, I think, still increases the number, but Trapper Sack gives you all of them.
I think it makes it more likely that we could see a Trapper. I personally don't know whether or not they're still going to be viable, but I think that's just because I don't really know the true effect that it's going to have on Trapper mains. I'm not exactly sure.
I'll be honest, Trapper Sack changes the game for Trapper in the PTB. I will say, So I think that it is a very high possibility that we might see Trapper with the new update. I think that we could potentially see maybe a change in COTF where some Eerie add-ons are allowed. Maybe in order to make some of the M1 killers a little bit stronger. Still in a conversation, not 100% certain. We'll have to wait and see. But that being said, I do believe our survivor builds are good to go. So we'll be jumping into game number 4. Like I said, very unlikely for Immortal Alliance to be able to win here, but it's not outside the realm possibility, so we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do, whether they'll, kind of meme around or go for the W.
Yeah, we're gonna find out probably in the first 2 minutes of the game to see how they actually perform. Looking at the standings as is, if Immortal Alliance takes a loss here, that would put them at 2 wins and 3 losses. If they win for the rest of it, the best that they can do is a 5-3 record, which still would put them in place to possibly grab the 4th seed. But if they take a loss today, they have to win the rest of the matches in order to put themselves in contention.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. It's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least. And especially the shakeup as a reason, as some team rosters have been shaken up a little bit. So we'll have to see in how that affects teams like Prestige and Immortal Alliance going forward. And as we see, though, today, Prestige has definitely had a really, really good showing. So even though they might not be in contention for the playoffs, they could still definitely show what they got as they move into Season 2.
Now, Prestige has done a brilliant job in today's match. And so as someone that was on Season 0 that didn't win a single match, I just want everyone to get one win. Just one. That's all I want.
That's fair.
I didn't get that. I want you to have it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, with that being said, we're moving into game number 4, this time with Prestige as the killer. Once again, they just need 1 hook and 1 progression, and the game is in their favor. With that being said, after the quick build check, everything's looking good to go, and sure enough, it looks like IA might be out here to meme, as we do find a no mither in play.
Yep. It definitely feels like a meme, and we do see Glitch coming out with the Huntress. I think that was a good. I think that was a good call on their part.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. It looks like they might be trying to either go for M2 only Huntress or something else. But getting a bit distracted here as they go for the Ace and do get hit by that Pal Stun. Ace making a bit of distance and potentially a dumb tech from Codex Genora as well. But getting hit by that hatchet, and Glitch here trying to get the down, but Codex just getting enough distance to make it worth their while.
I was going to say that we had 3 injured immediately. One of them was not because of their doing, and the other one is already healed. So we already had 2 people injured at the beginning of the game, and getting the N1 down on the UE.
Yeah, definitely good plays there, some good injuries, but also some really quick heals from these survivors. Even if they're memeing, they might still be able to get some value here, but it looks like going for some pallet stuns and messing about here as Glitch is going to try and get the hit out the window. An amazing job there, especially with the grab on Techno out the locker.
Yeah, that was a really good throw through the window. I did not think that they were going to get it, but they had enough room in the window for them to be able to see it. And we do see a generator that was being worked on that was yellow and is now turned white.
Yeah, so it looks like surveillance is in play as we speak, and Huntress, knowing full well that there's a survivor around here, looks to be the Ace with a bit of sprint burst, and tries to make some distance, and Huntress trying to get the down, but not able to secure it, and just now out of hatches, going for the reload.
Yep, going for the reload. The Huntress is in a really good spot right now. And we do see another activation of the high surveillance as that gen also turned yellow as well. And it was a really nice throw off of the hill.
Yeah, good throw on the hill, good throw on Techno at the hook. So Techno being back down again. Looks like we have Yui up there as well. And Huntress opting to go for the Yui over the Meg. And will get that hit, and looks like they're going to try and secure the W here with this second hook. But looks like maybe a sabotage attempt going wrong.
Yeah, and something that we didn't note is that the Yui got a little bit of a sprint burst when they hopped off of the hill, suggesting a possible balanced landing.
Yeah, that definitely is a good call out here. Looks like Yui trying to take some aggro, and Huntress being patient there, getting the hit, and we do see, once again, surveillance off on that gen. But looks like Huntress here just gonna say, all right, well, I have 2 slugs near here, might as well just sit here and wait to end the match. Going for some long-range hatches, maybe trying to hit the ace from afar. And may have actually been getting pretty close if you do see that jet pop off around the area that they actually were throwing.
Yeah, that was very spot on for them, and just to get that close. But we do see the Meg go ahead and get up, suggesting possibly an unbreakable play.
Yep, so that will be unbreakable. Huntress trying to get the hit at the hill, but not able to connect there on those first 2 hatchets. And you were right about the bounce lane onto Yui, but Huntress not carrying and getting the down, both on the Yui and on the Cheryl, and the Meg to boot. So, you know, going from where we were back to where we were.
Yeah, that all changed in a matter of 60 seconds, right?
Yeah, not much change there, other than now a survivor dead on the hook, no unbreakable in play, and now Glitch going for the ace as we speak.
In which, with the second hook and the kill, I think it's safe to say that there is already a victor in this match, and that victor belongs to Prestige.
Yeah, Prestige, you know, like we said, didn't exactly have many ways to lose this match, and Immortal Alliance seeing that too, deciding to meme around a bit. You know, that's why I do love these Game 4 matches when the game is pretty much already locked up. You do get to see some memes, and though some people might be not too thrilled about that in comp, sometimes a bit of levity is not a bad thing when it comes to the stress that is competitive play.
Yeah, if you know that you're not going to be able to take the victory, you could use it just to kind of wind down, meme around, and, you know, we're seeing that with Immortal Alliance, with people bringing out sabotage perks. We're seeing people bring out No Mither, you know, which is so OP for comp.
I mean, I will be honest, No Mither Resilience, a great combo.
It is a good combo. The trade-off is you're already down 1 health state.
Yeah, I remember when doing some speed run attempts on escapes, I'd run No Mither and Resilience for that value.
And so we do see them having a nice little chase going around the backside of main here. And so, they see the chase, and they're going to continue to put pressure on the ace. Throwing a hatchet, maybe predicting their moves, but just aren't able to connect.
Yeah, Glitch just not able to get any of these hatchets on the ace, and looks like Ace might be going for a potential pickup here. I do want to note that the bleed out timer on both Codex as well as Looper is about at 30 seconds, if not even less. So I foresee some bleed outs happening here momentarily if Glitch is not careful.
Oh, and we do see that there was a pickup. And so they're going to go ahead and go for the Meg right now. The question is, are they going to hook them or just, you know, let them bleed out on the floor?
Yeah, that is the question of the day. We do see Codex just seconds away from the bleed out as we speak, but they do get them up. The question is now, if Glitch gets Codex down, will they just bleed out immediately?
That was a really good throw. Because, okay, we're seeing a beautiful light show from the Yui with their flashlight. better than any Broadway show I've ever seen.
Agreed. And actually a pretty decent prediction there on that throw from the Huntress. Almost getting 2 pretty nice hits, but I think they need to go for the ace pickup as, for those of you killers who have read the second paragraph and know Mither, you will know that they can pick themselves up.
They indeed can, in which No Mither is getting a little bit of a buff on the 19th, right?
Yes, it is, which is going to be pretty significant in my opinion. The 25% increase in pickup time as well as the decrease in grunts of pain are pretty significant. Will it make No Mither a meta perk? No. Will it make it a bit better? Yes. So for those who have not done your Adept David yet, I think it'll be a bit easier going forward.
Only a little bit, make it more viable. And we do see Surveillance giving off some information over by the hill generator next to Shack. Hunter's being keen to know that and is patrolling the area looking for some hopeful victims to their hatchets.
In fact, I think they may have heard one as well, as they do see Ace and Megan here trying to get some shots in the window. I don't think it's possible. I think that's only possible for Slinger Boy, but I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken. Duly noted.
Wow!
I guess you have to line that up perfectly, but if it works, it works.
I think it's a distance issue in which, and we do see a bleed out. And that is going to be 0 points for the rest of the hook and progressions for that survivor. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. They're just playing to play and just have some fun.
I would agree, but with that being said, we do have, another match coming up, so I'm hoping to see that this match does end soon. But as a reminder, guys, do keep it kind here in chat. Otherwise, you will receive timeout and temporary bans, not just here, but also in the Discord channel if you are a competitor or a member of the server. At the end of the day, these teams having some fun, and that's A-okay in my book. As we do see Glitch looking around for another survivor, but not able to find them, will end up hooking the ace.
Yeah, I think it's time just to go ahead and start taking the hooks, and this way they can go ahead and we can go into the next match, which will be coming up in about 29 minutes, I believe.
Indeed. So that will be Sample Text versus Cookies. So very excited for that, as I will be participating, and our primary host for that match will be Little Rugard. So definitely excited for him to be joining us here on the commentator side of things.
And which we love Little Rugard. I've been watching him a lot more lately, and his trickster terrifies me.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie, he terrifies me.
He's one of the few trickster mains in DBD, so gotta give credit where credit's due, to say the least.
So it looks like the Huntress right now is pursuing the ace. I couldn't quite get a good look. The survivors were going behind walls so fast that my eyes just weren't able to catch up. And they are actually going for the Meg in this instance.
And do get the down. As we mentioned earlier, Mega only has about a 30-second bleed-out timer left, which could give the ace the potential for the hatch if they want to go for that, as I don't think the objective anymore is to go for an exit gate, let alone gens.
Yeah, I don't think that is the case, and with them leaving them slug, it looks like the final survivor, it's going to be a 1v1 between the ace and the Huntress, unless the ace can get the pickup really quickly. But we do see surveillance, or high surveillance, in the background.
You got it right the first time. The perk name is Surveillance.
Nope.
We have a competitor high surveillance.
Yep. No. After I said it, I'm just like, I did it again. It's like last week over again when they had me playing as my name is Travesty versus the team Travesty, it threw me off so much.
Fair enough, fair enough. But we do see another chase with this Meg here, and if the Huntress does get her down, I do think she will end up bleeding out here. And that will allow the ace to either find the hatch or die trying.
I think the ace wants this hatch a lot, because especially with the Hunters going for the bleed out intentionally on the Meg, it could be that they want to give Ace the
Hatch that unfortunately spawned right next to Huntress.
Of course it does, because it's Dead by Daylight. Of course it does.
You know, RNG be RNG.
Yeah, but you know what? Both exit gates are on the same side of the map. They are across from each other, but it is more manageable from the Huntress's point of view. They have a perfect view of both entrances.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit awkward for Ace here. We do see him going for the exit gate as we see. Let's see if Hunter's able to get the hit through the gap, and she is.
I need to be taking notes, because some of these shots that we're getting are just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have been playing pretty well, you know, knowing what they can throw through and what they cannot. Obviously, having a bit more time to line up the shots in some cases. But c'est la vie. With that being said, that there will be the official win. And that'll be 56 points for Immortal Alliance, 124 points for Prestige, as that will end this series.
It was a really good showing from Prestige in this round. They played beautifully today, and this was a well-deserved win for them, as they now have a record of 1-5. They have a win! We love to see it. We love to see it.
True, true. Well, with that being said, that there will be the end of the series. GG, well played to Immortal Alliance, and congratulations to Prestige. With that being said, we will be ending stream here, as we do have another match coming up in just 24 minutes with Cookies versus Sample Text, and that will be the last one for today, so definitely make sure to be there. On that note, guys, Travesty, if people wanted to go say hi next time you are live, where would they find you?
They can find me at twitch.tv/TravistyOnDemand, where all of the moves I make in my games are quite the travesty.
And of course, guys, I am your commissioner and primary host, Giltspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach kills with Play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. Just make sure to stop on by and say hi next time I am live on Monday at 7 p.m. CST for some more speedrun adept killer attempts. But note, guys, we will see you all next time, or rather, in the next 24 minutes with Cookies versus Sample Text. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.